All right, y'all. We're gonna be throwing a video here. 2007 Saab 9.3. Doing the expansion valve on it. Okay. Not such a big deal, really. You got to take the cowl off. First, you take the wiper arms off. There's a little cap that sits on top of the actual nut. It's a 13 millimeter. They sit on these spline shafts right here. Spline shafts, one and another one over there. Usually I just wiggle them loose. They come loose pretty good. They do have a special wiper arm extractor or puller if they're really on there tight. I don't see the need for that on this vehicle. So anyway, so once you've done that, you take off, there's like a cowl cover, which is this guy right here. There's usually a clip on each of the two ends, and then you just kind of take it off. I just kind of peel off this this weather strip here, just pull it up. That way it kind of comes off a bit easier. Once you've done that, you've got 4 bolts. They're 10 millimeters, 1, 2, 1 in the corner there, 1 over there where the arm is, and then you undo those. You can move the whole assembly out of the way. The same with of course you got to discharge the whole AC system first, get all your Freon out. Once you've done that, okay, the air cleaner, the cabin air filter box got to be taken out. So what you do is the air cleaner, the cabin air filter box sits in like this, upside down like this. You will unsnap this little clip. You will unsnap this clip, and you just pull the filter out. And then there are 2 little catches inside of there. All right, make sure you move this little hook out, otherwise you won't be able to get it out. You just kind of unsnap it, and then you move the hooks out of the way, pull the whole assembly out, and that'll give you pretty much free roam right inside of this cavity right here. You're gonna want to, there's a 13 millimeter nut that sits on the stud of the expansion valve. All right, and then the big bugger, okay, is the actual expansion valve itself. Okay, they sit with 4 millimeter Allen head bolts, and on mine, thank God, I had read up on it a little bit. So what we did is took some penetrating oil. I of course put my thumb in the way for the orifice holes there for the tubes, and then I sprayed the penetrating oil inside where the 2 bolts are, and then I used a tiny hammer to knock in my 4 millimeter Allen head socket so that it bottomed in properly and it didn't strip the head of it. And then what I did was waited a little bit for the penetrating oil to work itself in. And then what I did was I used a short extension with a 3/8 ratchet, and I tightened it. Okay, I didn't loosen it. I tightened it just a tiny little bit, so it kind of broke loose. And then I started, loosening it. And the top one came out no problem. The bottom one came out with a bit of, wrenching it, kind of working it, a little bit harder. But I had to get a longer 3/8 ratchet with like a bit more leverage. And I held it nice and tight and steady so that it wouldn't, wobble around or anything. Kept it nice dead center on the head of that bolt. And it did come loose eventually. And now I'm just going to go ahead and pull that expansion valve out, take it to the shop, make sure they got the right one, and then swap it out.